What up, peeps? This is...
Best intro ever. 10 out of 10.
What up, peeps? This is Fuzzy, and I am joined by...
Ambrose.
PasMorning.
It's been a while. Almost forgot our names.
Yeah,
Tell me
it's
about
been
it.
a while. Anyways...
We are back after an unintentionally long hiatus.
Yes. Today, we have a top 5 list for you. Now, I was anticipating that this was going to be a really hard list for all three of us. Because there's a lot of there's a lot of good games coming out in 2019 and 2020 and onward. But as you two expressed to me before we began recording, that doesn't really seem like the case because you said there's been a lot of games that came out already that you would have wanted to talk about. Which I understand fully, but still I would have expected. There's a lot of games. I was thinking that this was going to be a part 2 list or even a part 10 list.
Well, I mean, part of the issue with that, though, is that, E3 is next month, which is where all the big game announcements are going to come. So,
yeah, I think it's just a matter of timing.
So right now it's just kind of like we're scraping the bottom of the barrel of what we know is supposed to come out. And once if we were to like do a revamp of this list, like
we
next
might
month
do a part 2, where
something like that would be. If we do that after E3, then we could have all kinds of stuff going on. We could probably make a top 20 list or something, maybe. But with the fact that not that this isn't a problem, there's still plenty of games that I am looking forward to.
Yeah.
It's just a little harder to think of now that a lot of the games.
And I totally get that. It's just something that when both of you mentioned that, I was like, really? There's like 50 games on my list that I'm excited about.
Right. Well, and you have a lot of these like really good games that were anticipated. The same thing's going to happen with these. They're going to come out and they're not going to be on the list anymore.
Yeah. Especially, a lot of the games that I'm quote unquote anticipating are games that aren't actually officially
announced,
real yet.
Right.
So, PM, go ahead and take it away with one of your number 5s.
One of them? We have more than one number 5?
Yes.
Right.
It's okay.
I wasn't prepared.
It's on the screen.
You said 5. You didn't say we had that 2 5s. It's okay. Yes. Come on, PM.
All right. So Crash Team Racing, Nitro Fueled. That's what it's.
Yeah, that's the revamp name.
Yeah, and I'm drawing a blank. So yeah, Crash Team Racing, Nitro Fueled. Obviously, it's not. You can obviously see it as not 100% a new game or whatever. I think you kind of telling me that too, but it's a good game. Right. I loved it for the PlayStation.
Yeah, it was definitely one of my favorite games for the PlayStation.
Right.
Too.
It was, back in the time, like the very first Mario Kart racing game I ever played was on the N64. Yeah. Didn't even know that there was one on the Nintendo, but that's different story for a different time. But yeah, it was around the time that I enjoyed playing those kind of racing games. I even played Diddy Kong Racing.
Oh, that was a good one too.
Yeah.
But yeah,
it didn't hold up well over time, personally, because I have it, and it's like, I'm like, oh, this game was so cool, and I was like, it's not Crash Team
Well,
Racing.
A lot of games are like that, if you look back. They could have been the funnest games growing up.
Oh, yeah,
but
as a
when
child.
you play them back now, it's like, look at
Pokemon
Snap.
Lost my mind.
Yeah.
That game was fun. PasMorning actually brought it over the other day. I played 15 seconds, and I thought, this is the stupidest thing I've ever played.
Right, I was enthusiastic about it when I brought it over, and even I was like, now I remember what this is all about. Yeah, that's one of those games where it is fun to play from beginning to end, and then forget about it for a couple of years. But yeah, Crash Team Racing Nitro Fueled is the HD remake version, whatever, that's coming out soonish.
Next month, I think.
Yeah.
I think. Could be July. I don't remember for sure.
I don't quite remember either. But, yeah, I mean, obviously there's not much to say on that one, because that game already technically was released years ago.
Yeah. Well, you're talking about, Mario Kart and stuff like that. Honestly, Crash Team Racing is one of, like, the first non-Mario Kart games that could actually, like, seriously compete with Mario Kart, in my opinion. Like,
I can believe that.
It was like up there on that same level.
Oh yeah,
it
was good. It had memorable characters using mascots and stuff that people actually really knew about, and just it was a fun, cool aspect, and it's going to be really cool to see them do that because they did do what was Crash. What was it? Like Double Team or
they
something
did. They
like
did
that.
do some
Fusion
then,
or some crap.
Yeah.
And that one was fun, but I don't really recall there being a lot of Crash racing games.
They haven't done a whole lot of it.
Only 2 of them that I can actually think of.
Yeah.
So it would be cool to see.
It's cool though. This is actually one that I'm really looking forward to. I had it pre-ordered and stuff like that since the day they announced it. I'm ready to go for it. I didn't put it on my list because I have a weird thing about remakes that they're not really new games, quote unquote. So I just kind of steered clear of it, with the exception of one, which you guys will find out later.
Yeah,
but even this one though, like it's still different enough that it's kind of almost like a new game,
right?
Because they're adding stuff to it. Like,
well, think of
it'll be interesting to see how it compares to the old one.
Yeah,
because it sounds like it's more than just an HD remake.
I heard
they are adding
might,
new content, if I understand correctly.
Yeah, I heard that they might add a few extra things or an extra character or something. Hopefully they don't go too crazy with it.
Well, I know, too, that they're also supposedly adding in, like, car customization, too. So you can actually like, make your own car and stuff like that.
That's cool.
So it would be kind of cool.
Well, think of it like the Spyro and the Crash games, because you got the Crash Insane trilogy and the Spyro Reignited trilogy and everything. And I got the Spyro one, and because I love Spyro. Playing it was legitimately almost like playing a completely different game.
Yeah,
like
it's just so, especially if it's something that you haven't played in years. You know, it's like it's almost all new to you.
Right, and then like the characters were like all redone, and they put good attention into legitimately remaking the game.
It definitely seems like they're trying to go back to the roots,
and that's good. Yeah. I think more things should do that.
All right, Fuzzy, number 5.
Well, my number 5 pick is Werewolf, the Apocalypse, Earthbound, Earthblood.
That's a lot of names.
Yes.
I think you just listed off 4 games.
Did you just say Earthbound?
I did.
They're finally putting out a new Earthbound?
No,
I know.
I wish.
Well, they didn't even put out the first Earthbound. Come on now.
Right. No, I'm just poking fun at him because he is an old Mother fan.
Yeah, I am. But basically, in this game, there's really not that much information out about it. There's no trailers, there's no screenshots. The only thing that we know is the fact that it changed hands from Focus Home Interactive to Cyanide for the publisher. And the only other thing is just a very loose plot, which is basically you get to play as an outcast werewolf who basically is trying to protect his... God damn it!
Keep going.
I didn't say anything.
Keep going. We're good. Keep going.
I'm trying to be.
Go on, Fuzzy. Keep going.
Who basically wants to protect his clan and also go against this corporation. And basically, he's going to be attacking the people who are basically upsetting the balance of nature. So, take it with a grain of salt. It does sound really interesting. What really calls out to me is with this game, you get to play as the monster. Well, quote-unquote monster. I really like RPG action games where it's kind of flipped, where the humans are seen as good along with elves, and monsters are usually seen as bad, but they kind of flip it, so... I don't know if this game is going to be good, if it's going to be bad, but it definitely has my interest.
That's cool. Well, see, and you said, like, people good, monster bad. And that is a cool aspect that they're kind of, it sounds like they're kind of going to flip it. Because, who isn't rooting for the monster?
Yeah.
Seriously.
It's true.
Like, I always want to play as the monster. And I personally don't really care if I'm the good guy or not. Because I'm a fucking monster.
You want to cause chaos and destruction.
But yeah, it is cool to see them kind of do a role reversal, whatever. At least you can feel good about eating people.
Yes. Yeah. Cannibalism is really good.
I mean, is it really cannibalism? You're in wolf form. It's okay.
Yeah, it's fine.
You're only half human.
Right.
So
I mean, you're okay.
Half cannibalism.
And besides, who doesn't love werewolves? I mean, I have a tattoo of one, and I'm planning on getting another tattoo with a human skull in it with blood dripping down. Granted, I'm not going to be able to really show it off at the church that Ambrose and I go to. Otherwise, people are going to be like, oh. But still, yeah, it's interesting, and I'll have to follow up with it when more information is released.
Cool.
All right, that sounds
So,
interesting. Maybe we'll have to
Ambrose-
do something about that. So, this list was a little harder for me to do, because as me and PasMorning were talking about earlier, a lot of the games that we were anticipating have already come out, and so I kind of struggled to come up with some.
I think we both did.
But I managed to make it work. I chose for my number 5, Bloodstained: Ritual of the Night, which is a game that is coming out next month, I believe, June. And it's very similar to the old school like Castlevania games. I think it's basically a spiritual successor to Castlevania. I don't know if it's necessarily same universe type style, but it's definitely a very similar game to it. And I personally really enjoy the Castlevania games, even though I didn't play them until like later on.
I enjoyed the Castlevania anime.
That's really good too.
I never played the Castlevania game personally.
Didn't you reveal the trailer like one of the first few episodes?
Yeah, I did. We did talk about the Bloodstained trailer a few months back.
Did we?
We did. I don't know if you were here.
Probably.
But either way, we did talk about it.
You guys always talk about the fun shit.
Well, you always have don't.
Yeah.
But yeah, so like this game, it definitely has that Castlevania vibe to it. Very colorful game. Very just good artwork, which is something Castlevania's always been good with. And so I'm really looking forward to it. There's really not much to say about it that you can't really just Castlevania. That's kind of what the gist of it is.
And basically, isn't it your slasher type of game?
Yeah, more or less. It's kind of like 2.5D in a way, where it's like parts of it that are the platforming parts, and then there's the other parts where you're going out and killing things like that. I don't know. It looks like a really good game. I'm really looking forward to it.
Well, the fact that you mentioned when we first talked about it, I don't mean to cut you off, but just the fact of how when you beat the game, how it reverses.
Yeah,
that does sound really cool.
Yeah, well, that's something they did in Castlevania Symphony of the Night. Was when you finish the game, the castle that you're in flips upside down, and you play the entire game again in the inverted castle. And they kind of seem like
they do that.
Yep. So they kind of seem like they're doing a little bit of that with this. There's a part where at the end of the trailer where she uses like a time spell or something like that, and then you can see the screen flip around. So like it seems like they're doing something like that too.
Well, hopefully that could be really interesting.
Yeah, I'm really looking forward to it. I'm hoping it's going to be good. So yeah, that's my number 5.
No, PM. What about you?
Biomutant.
You bitch, you stole mine.
I was the one that told you about it.
This is true.
So Biomutant, which I think is actually a trailer we talked about.
It is.
I'm pretty sure. I'm sure it was discussed at some point.
Yeah, it was.
Yeah.
So tell us about Biomutant. Why are you excited for it?
It looks awesome.
It does.
It's just okay. So the first trailer I saw of it a long time ago, it felt like when I was watching it, it had everything I wanted, and I didn't even know I wanted it. Anthropomorphic animals, which is
always awesome.
Those are fun. I like them for the aspect that they're inhuman. You can kind of see them as monsters, but also kind of treat them as humans kind of aspect.
Yeah, the only downside.
Cool. So yeah, you get to pick an animal or whatever. I can't necessarily remember all the. Yeah, I believe like bear, cat, bat, some other ones, whatever. I know there's a pig in there, but I don't know if you can be the pig or not. And they just have a bunch of different aspects in it. Like, you can go your action RPG style button masher combo, kind of thing, build your character up a certain way. I also saw that you can get like different mounts or rides and shit. The first video I saw on it, you got to play as like a steampunk clockwork giant hand thing, and got to run around on that like a freaking horse, and it shot lasers out of its fingertips. Like, oh yeah, just like I need to play this like now, and then going all the way to the point of like having mech suits that you can get in, and just a bunch of really cool aspects in it. Unfortunately, they kept moving it, and the last time I checked, it's not supposed to be released until sometime at the end of this year.
I was looking at some rumors, because some people have leaked information. If you want to skip this part, go ahead. but a lot of people are hinting at August 9th of this year.
Yeah, I think I heard something to that effect.
You know, Biomutant, it's a game I personally am looking forward to as well. When I saw the original trailer for it, I got hyped for it. But I feel like the issue with Biomutant is I feel like it was revealed a little bit too early.
Maybe.
Because I saw the trailer for it, I got hyped for it, I'm like, oh, this is going to be a good game, I'm ready for it when it comes out. And then I didn't see anything about it for like a year.
Well, because when you saw it, it almost looked like it was an almost complete game, right?
And so to me, it was
a month or two.
Yeah,
we can do this.
So then I didn't see anything about it for like a year, and I didn't even remember it existed until we talked about it on a podcast about a month ago. And I was like, oh yeah, that game! I remember that game.
Right.
And then even now, I still don't really remember it much of it.
Like, yeah, and some
like it looks like a good game, and I'm gonna probably buy it when it comes out. But it's hard for me to be hyped for it when it's something that like I've seen the reveal trailer for it, and then haven't really seen anything on it in like a year.
Well, I mean, Rockstar is notorious for that, doing the exact same thing. So, I mean, this could follow in Rockstar's.
Yeah.
And see, that can... I hope that them doing that doesn't screw them over, because they do that, look at all this cool stuff that we want in this game, and stuff, and it almost looks like it's an almost complete game. People get excited, and you wait a year or two for it to come out, and then it turns into a big pile of compromise.
Yeah.
Well, I'd rather have them take their time to perfect the game, even if it is a year or two.
But then the problem also lies too that if you take too long, people lose interest.
Exactly.
And you're not gonna think of Duke Nukem Forever, which is notorious for this, where it was in development for like 12 years. Jeez. When it finally came out, people outgrew Duke Nukem. Nobody cared for Duke Nukem.
Right, his one-liners.
Yeah, nobody liked him anymore. So even though the gameplay was very Duke Nukem-y, nobody really cared anymore. So I agree. Them taking time to perfect the game is critical, but at the same time, it's like take too long, and people are gonna lose interest.
Yeah, that's fair.
So, with that being said. Fuzzy, number 4.
Well, my number 4 pick isn't hard to imagine why. Because I love the element of it. I love Obsidian. And despite what people say, Obsidian and Bethesda do a really good job when it comes to storytelling. Now, it piques my interest because it is a role-playing game. And I was never too big into the Fallout series. I was more Outer Scrolls. But at the same time, I did like New Vegas when it came out. It was one of the funnest games that I've played in a while. I hope that the game is going to be really massive, which it looks like it is, and it's just a beautiful, stunning game to look at.
Yeah, it definitely looks good. I can tell you that for sure. I don't really know much about the game yet, but yeah, I can definitely say it's definitely got like a Fallout vibe to it a little bit.
Well, you would hope the guys who made it would have that, given that they were the ones that made the original Fallout with New Vegas and all that.
True.
Although my only downside, and this is a reoccurring theme, is that it's coming to the Epic Store this year, which I'm not too happy about. But if you are like
just
me,
a stepping stone at least. So yeah, they might get it first, but you'll get access to it on a different thing eventually.
Well,
it's coming to the Windows Store in a year after its release.
Well, on the bright side, if you're a console gamer like I am, you don't got to worry about that stuff.
Yeah, you usually have to wait longer.
Yeah. Well, I might pick up a PlayStation for just to play that game because Epic doesn't deserve my money.
So Fuzzy's gonna buy a PS4, beat the game, and then sell the PS4 back to the game store.
Yep.
There you go.
And get all of like $20 for it.
I was going to say $5 for GameStop.
Tell me about it.
Yeah. What about you?
So this one is actually probably a little surprising that it's as low on my list as it would be, but it's the new Pokemon games.
Really?
Pokemon Sword and Shield coming out for Switch. A game I'm really hyped for. I've always been a fan of Pokemon ever since I was a kid.
Who hasn't?
It's one of the best RPG games out there.
Yeah, and so I love
strategy RPGs that are actually decent to play these days,
and the ones that don't have to change up too much to stay relevant. Like they can keep doing the same thing over and over again. People still love it. So I'm really hyped up for the new games. It's gonna be the first core games on a big home console, as opposed to the handheld systems. Mm-hmm. So I'm really looking forward to that. I'm looking forward to sort of what they're gonna do with it. The trailer that they have released for it so far looks really good. Yeah, and I mean, Pokemon was one of them things that you could show me like a
Anything.
little bit of information on it, and I'm hyped. I'm ready for it. I said, I've been a fan since I was a child, so any bit of information on Pokemon is enough to get me hyped.
Well, I was saying a couple of weeks ago that this is one of the games that I'm going to buy a Switch for because I love Pokemon. All of us do in that regard.
How can you know, we're at that age, where like when we were kids, that's when that started.
Yep.
And we grew up with the Pokemon phase, and the games are fun. I've always been a big fan of strategy RPGs, and Pokemon is the epitome of that. Yeah. Entirely. And it's like, any bit of something that comes out, I get excited about it. I don't even really have to see anything. You're like, new Pokemon game, like new Pokemon, what? A new one?
Right.
Really?
I'm really excited.
Like, I'll play it. Like,
and the cool thing about it, though, too, is that some of the more recent games have been, a lot of people have complained that they've been really easy. Partially because they're trying to, appeal to the kids again, too. Trying to bring kids back into the franchise, stuff like that. But they have gone on record saying, too, that Sword and Shield are going to be more for hardcore fans of the series.
That would be good to see.
So that doesn't necessarily mean they're not going to be easy, but it does at least mean that they're going to have more mechanics to it that are actually going to be more for the people who've been playing the game for years.
Right. Something that new people would be able to get into and old people would absolutely love.
Yeah.
Yeah, for sure. That would be good, because honestly, a lot of these new RPG games, especially the action ones, they feel too easy. Like, they're very well balanced, and the best thing about RPG games is the grind. It's the working to get to that.
Although you don't always feel that way when you're doing the grind.
No, but tell me you don't feel accomplished after like spending 20 hours of your life grinding on the side so you can beat that boss. And you still get your ass beat
by the boss.
Right. But when you beat that boss, you feel accomplished.
Oh, yeah.
Like everything that you did was great. And I think the reason why people don't like that is because they're the other group that spent like 5 hours, gave up, and said it was a waste of time.
Yeah.
And like, no, it's a game where you have to power
you have to be willing to invest time in it.
Exactly.
Right. Any good game, really.
Yeah, and that's the funnest aspect. No, it's not fun when you're doing it, but you feel accomplished afterwards. And that's the best feeling when you're playing a game.
Now, what I'm really curious about is with this game, if we're going to finally see Wolf, Data Plan, and Pool Boy.
That was a whole lot of stuff you just spit out. What are you talking about?
What the hell are you talking about?
You didn't... Starbomb.
What about Starbomb?
Oh, okay.
And Starbomb. Yeah,
shout out to Starbomb.
That was so cool.
Yeah, they're doing songs. Yeah, they're actually doing more songs now. They just did another Zelda one. Still, in my opinion, not as good as the best one.
Anyway, Starbomb, that's the only time that you're getting on this video.
Alright.
Yeah, they don't need our
support. So yeah, Pokemon Sword and Shield, I'm really looking forward to it. And it's something that, like I said, anytime there's a new Pokemon game, like, it's funny too though, because when Pokemon Sword and Shield got announced, the first thing I wanted to do was go back and play my older games, so I could get prepared for it. So yeah, it's definitely got me hyped. I'm ready to go.
Talking about this now almost makes me want to dust off my Pokemon Yellow and stuff from the get-go.
And now, obviously, like I said, there's going to be a reason why it's so far down on the list, and I just think as much as I love the game, the 3 that I have left are ones that I've like really, really wanting. So, and plus I know when Pokemon's coming out. So the next 3 on my list, I have no idea when they're coming out, so I'm anticipating them even more.
I hadn't paid attention to the release dates on any of them, and I didn't actually put mine in order.
Pokemon doesn't have a release date, quote unquote, but we know it's coming out in November. So,
there's that.
So, anyways, Fuzzy, number 3 still.
Next one.
I can count, trust me.
Now, it wouldn't be me if I didn't include at least one horror game in the mix. But I'm really excited about Stalker 2, which the predecessor was absolutely fantastic. Since it's not your normal quote-unquote horror game, it doesn't rely on cheap, cheesy jump scares. It has just a really dark atmosphere I cannot speak today. Especially when you go into the laboratories and all that, and it's really dark, it's really eerie, it's really fun. I know people who would say this game almost compares to Amnesia. Granted, Amnesia does rely on some cheap jump scares with some of the monsters.
I think any horror game has some aspect to it where there's going to be some form of jump scares. The big point in a good horror thing is not to overly abuse that.
And what really adds to the lore of this game is the fact that it takes place in Pripyat and also Chernobyl with the nuclear reactors melting down. So that itself, the lore is pretty interesting.
Yeah, I don't know much about Stalker. I think I just heard about it the other day.
I just heard about it recently, about a minute ago.
I heard about it recently. A minute ago.
Very recently.
I heard about it when Fuzzy brought it up.
Yeah.
We were just talking about it,
So yeah, I think I haven't heard anything about it, but when you compare it to Amnesia, I think I remember hearing something
Dead
about
Space
it.
3 in that regard because
is it? Is it really? Because I actually like the Dead Space.
Yeah, Dead Space games are fun.
Dead Space 3 was my favorite one so far. Honestly, the only one I actually got all the way through. The first two didn't work out for me too well, but I like the aspect behind that. So if it's something like that could be something, because that wasn't all jump scares.
No.
Honestly, any jump scares that were in it were predictable, but it was more about the atmosphere and the disgusting creatures and the noises and the things crawling through the vents and stuff. It was more about what you were actually seeing and experiencing that made it scary, not something just hopped out at you, because that gets old.
It does.
That gets real old.
Yeah. I mean, if a game relies too much on the
cheap
jump scares, it's not actually scary. It's just taking advantage of surprising you. And I mean, people are always like, "Oh, you got scared by that?" It's like, it's supposed to scare you. Like, if something jumps out at you, whether it's scary looking or not, it's gonna surprise you. It's gonna shock you.
The fact that you're shocked or surprised is a good thing. Your reflexes are up.
But it doesn't really give merit to a horror game if the only way they can scare you is to shock you.
Yeah.
Right.
It doesn't really give a whole lot of merit to it. So yeah, a game that like can get you based on the atmosphere by itself is really good. It's a good sign.
Yeah, for sure.
Stalker, it's actually a really hard game to play, and a lot of people have died playing it. So in some regards, it's almost a bit like.
Wait, Stalker's this game that's coming out, right?
Yeah.
Stalker 2 is the one that's coming out. Stalker is the one you thought.
And people have died while playing it?
No. People haven't died, but it's a bit like Dark Souls. That it's really hard, and people do die quite a bit when you play it.
Oh, I got you now. Just the way that you said it.
Yeah, I didn't.
People are dying in real life.
It's a haunted game. See, now that almost makes you want to play it. Right. You might actually get scared.
Like, you're going to die playing the game. All right, where do I sign up?
Right, I'm up for it. Like, this game out yet?
Are you okay?
I'm fine.
What about you?
Everybody like a challenge, and games these days just ain't challenging enough.
The game ain't gonna kill me, I don't want to play.
Right. There's a chance of death, it's more anticipated, possibly.
Well, what about you, Ambrose, on a less depressing note?
On a much less depressing note, I guess. My number 3 is Skull and Bones.
What? Oh, yeah!
Skull and Bones. Did we do a trailer for this one? I don't know.
We did, but the audio got corrupted.
Oh, okay. So this one's news to the people who've seen the episode, haven't seen episodes in a while. Skull and Bones is a new pirate game that's not pirated. Pirate game.
It took me a minute to I'm with you now.
See, this one though has a similar feel to the Biomutant in a way, where I feel like it got announced too early.
Right.
But I'll explain sort of what the deal with it is. So, Skull and Bones was revealed at E3 last year, I think it was. And it's basically, if you think of Assassin's Creed Black Flag, which is the best Assassin's Creed game in the series. Don't at me, I don't care what you got to say about it. But you take
I never actually got that far in that one.
But you take the naval combat of that, and it's all that because it's pirates and stuff like that. And it's supposed to be like an online style game where you can join up and make a crew of your friends and stuff like that, and just do pirate things. And honestly, the big thing is I love pirates. I've always been into pirates. I think pirates are really cool.
Who doesn't like pirates?
Yeah,
whole going across the seas and fucking taking what you want.
Yeah. As always, I love, pirate movies, everything. I love pirates. So when I saw this game, I got hyped for it. And then the Sea of Thieves game that was an Xbox exclusive came out, and I was kind of disappointed. I was like, I really want to play that, and then that ended up being disappointing.
Yeah.
So it kind of almost brought my hype for this game even more, to the point where it's like, okay, now I really want to play this game.
Right, trying to get that pirate fix.
Right. So the problem is, though, that this game was originally supposed to come out this year, and just recently Ubisoft has said that due to them wanting to fine-tune it and make it a better game, it's not coming out until next year.
Ooh.
Like next year, April at the earliest, basically.
Well, that does suck, but as long as if they get on that and actually, put out something that is worth the wait, then that's good.
Yeah.
Hopefully it doesn't, because we talked about that with other shit and stuff, but yeah, I'm rooting for them to actually come out with it. Hopefully they don't, end up just putting out something that's just compromised and whatever. And I think you said beforehand, yeah, games do have a problem with that. They get your hype up and stuff, and then...
Well, at least this one's not like some games where like, oh yeah, we revealed it, and then they don't actually intend on coming out until 2-3 years. This one has like an established date, like we're going to do this next year, and then it just kind of gets delayed.
Yeah, or in some cases, I swear it's like, they reveal it, like, yeah, look at this awesome game, and then you find out that they are planning on making it someday.
Yeah, like Kingdom Hearts 3 when it first got announced, 2013, and then didn't actually
like we're totally
anything for like 5 years.
Yeah, like we're totally gonna do this, and then you hear nothing.
Right.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, as much, even though I don't know when it's coming out, which almost makes me want it more, which is again the reason why I put it above Pokemon, because it's a game I do know is coming out.
Right. You can at least get your Pokemon fix.
Yeah, I am really into this game. It's been a long time since I've been able to play a pirate game and get really into it. And what they've shown in the game is like really, it's not just like the naval combat either. It's like all the aspects of pirating. Like you can go find buried treasure and take stuff from other people in towns and stuff like that. It looks all kinds of fun.
Is this game exclusive to only PlayStation?
No, I think it's gonna be PlayStation and Xbox. Maybe
I might have to pick that up.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure.
It definitely looks really good.
I think I saw it in the store.
Yeah,
because it's been a while since I've played a good pirate game. Yeah. Although the only complaint that I have is that how it's going to stack up to Sea of Thieves, because
Sea of Thieves was very disappointing to a lot of people. So,
really, was it?
Yeah, it was. A lot of people thought that it got boring really quick. Because
hopefully this game doesn't follow that suit.
Yeah, and that's the bright side of the fact that Rare came out with Sea of Thieves, because now Skull and Bones can look at that and say, all right, this game, as good as it was, disappointed a lot of people because it kind of got repetitive after a while. Now we can look at it and say, how can we make that better and improve on that? For this
learn from it.
Yeah,
for sure.
So yeah, Skull and Bones.
Number 3.
Super hyped. I'm ready for it. Let's go.
Now PM.
Number 2.
Number 2.
The Great Mighty Pooh.
No, not again.
Everybody got to keep recapping on it. I swear, I had no idea that I put Great Mighty Pooh as number 2 in that list. I swear. That was not intentional, but still pretty funny to me personally.
r/that happened.
Alright, number 2.
Alright, Pikmin.
Ooh, Pikmin.
Yeah, always been a big Pikmin fan. Honestly, I never actually got to play 3, and I wanted to play Hey Pikmin, and that didn't quite happen. But those are all games that I want to get at some point. And, I'll start getting out of the funk of it and everything. And then, of course, the new Smash Bros. Game got to come out and remind me just how much I like Pikmin. And the aspect behind it, and the collecting, and the stuff that you find. And you find a 7-Up bottle cap, and, Duracell battery, and it's just the aspects behind the Pikmin and stuff, because they put, they had 5 in number 2, and then in 3, if I'm not mistaken, they put out 2 more. Technically, you could almost see that in number 2 that they actually released 3 of them, because there's a parasitic one. But they kind of just comb over that one.
Now, I was never really big into Pikmin. And more specifically...
It is a very odd game. It's like platformer, but not really, because your guy don't really jump. It's more like puzzle. It's like puzzle survival. Especially in number 1, where you only have like 30 days or whatever to get all your parts, or your character dies within that time. So it's a game like you have to like power through and rush and go through. Obviously, you don't need all of them unless you want to get the good ending. You just got to get specific ones in order to actually get off the planet, which is pretty much a post-apocalyptic Earth. But yeah, anyway, I've been thinking about that game a lot. I don't think I really saw anything. There's been rumors and stuff like that about Pikmin 4, and I haven't even played Pikmin 3 yet, but I've been having my eyes on it. And I just want to see this series become good. Just because there are a lot of shit talkers to Pikmin, and I get it. This game's not for everyone. First time I played it, hated it. Absolutely hated it. But the odd thing, after I played the game, because I rented it, that's all I could think about. Like, I was just thinking about the aspects on it. It was colorful, and the Pikmin just looked like nice and playful and just colorful, and I had to have it. I've been a fan of it ever since.
Yeah. So with Pikmin, like Fuzzy, I've never been big into Pikmin, honestly.
Right.
But I do follow a lot of channels on YouTube that discuss, upcoming Nintendo games and all that kind of stuff.
Yep.
And every time there's talk about Nintendo announcing games, Pikmin 4 is the one that constantly comes up. That, and I think probably Animal Crossing.
Yeah.
Are like the two that like everybody constantly asks, where's Pikmin? Where's Animal Crossing? Like they're constantly asking.
And it's odd too, because those are the games that like you either like them or you hate them.
Yeah, they're both games that are very niche. You have to have a certain type.
Right. Whereas and like Mario and Zelda.
Yeah, I mean everybody like Mario and Zelda.
Yeah, everybody like that, and you just know that they're gonna come out at some point.
Right.
I mean, there's gonna be another 100, 200 Mario games in my lifetime that are going to come out. 'Cause Mario's the shit, apparently. But seeing something like that, I've been rooting for Pikmin since the first one. Yeah. And I want it to keep going. And I hope that they stick with, because like I said, I didn't play 3, but I do hope that they stick with the mechanics and how things went from like 1 and 2, and just expand from it. It's definitely not a game that I would want to change around too much.
And see, what I was talking about too, about how it's a game that everyone constantly brings up, therein kind of lies an issue with it, is that every time, okay, for example, E3 is coming out next month, and we know that Nintendo is planning a Nintendo Direct for the E3 time.
Yeah.
Yep.
And everyone's like, Pikmin 4 has got to be at E3. It's the only explanation. The problem is when they keep speculating that all the time, it becomes very hard to know what's real and what isn't.
Mm-hmm. Right.
So,
for sure.
like, there's been said that Miyamoto has said Pikmin 4 has been in development at least since 2016.
Right.
And he said that it's still in development. It's still in development. The problem is, though, all these other people out here speculating when and if and all this kind of stuff. Yep. It gets really hard to know what's real and what isn't.
Mm-hmm. Right.
So this is kind of one of the games that, like, people are like, oh, it's going to come out E3. It might, but I wouldn't hold my breath because it's been said. That's been said for like 3 years now.
Right.
It hasn't done anything with it.
And I've seen something before where like Pikmin has always been a cool aspect, a cool thing that they worked on and stuff, but was not necessarily top priority 100% of the time. So maybe some of it could be true that they are working on Pikmin, but that doesn't mean that they're going to continue to work on it until completion. Because, I mean, they put out so many Nintendo-related games. I mean, you can't work on Pikmin 100% of the time because Mario needs another 50 games. So...
we could be working on Pikmin, but, Mario hasn't had a good game in 2 months. Let's go work on him.
Right.
All right. So, so Pikmin, it's a good one. If it comes out, I'll be happy for all the people who like it. I might give it a shot. I don't know. I've branched out my taste a little bit in the past few years.
Yeah.
But anyway, with that being said, Fuzzy, number 2.
I actually just swapped out my number 2.
That's
pick.
cheating!
So what?
You're cheating!
Anyways, for my number two pick, I'm actually picking a game that's kind of an HD remake, but there's going to be quite significant changes to the story with 20 new cutscenes, 2 new characters.
Persona 5.
No.
That's
Catherine.
already out.
Well, there's a Royal Edition. Anyways, what?
Catherine. Full body.
Oh, that game.
It's
That
coming out
game,
on the Play.
I was going to put that on my list and forgot all about it. That's not on my list.
Wah, wah. But anyways...
Actually, I believe it's already out.
No, it's only in Japan that it's out, but it's coming out in the USA.
That's why I didn't put it on the list.
September 13th.
Yeah,
alright, so tell us about Catherine Full Body.
Well, I don't know too
disturbing.
much about it, but at the same
That
time,
game is kind of disturbing.
Catherine is a pretty disturbing game. Have you played it?
I have not played it.
Do you know
Buddy of mine
anything
at
about
work
it?
has told me about it, though, so I kind of... I get the gist.
You might enjoy it. It's got like a decision-based puzzle kind of like game set and everything.
Well, hey,
The
the new one's coming out soon.
You
maybe
never
I'll give it
even
a shot.
played the first
I've
one.
watched you play it, and I've enjoyed...
He never played it, but he used to like... He was actually pretty good at the game, if you consider him barking orders at me. Because I get stuck in it, like, well, do this. No, go over there, do it, like, you know, like, here, you want to play? Like, no, I'm fine. He just wanted to see the cutscenes and, like, the decisions.
Because the cutscenes were good!
Alright,
it was
Fuzzy.
cutesy.
Calm down over there, quit
It
bouncing
was
on the
very-
bed, and tell me why we should be excited about Catherine Full Body.
Because
That's
it's the
the
second
reason.
Catherine, I guess.
Alright, then.
Anyway, the first one, for people who don't know, the first one, it's you're with a girl named Catherine and cheating on her.
Cheating on her with a girl named Catherine, right?
No,
Yes, with a K.
It's a girl with a K, and then cheating on a girl with whatever, and yeah, that's Catherine with a C. And then it turns into some other shit, and then like every night you go into the dream world and
You have
deal
to
with
climb boxes.
yeah, you gotta climb boxes with these disgusting, deformed, I don't know, representations of the things that your character is going through. His commitment issues, the problems that he's, like, you know, cheating with other people, you know, this, that, and everything. You fucking run up a tower being chased from, like, a butthole monster. I'm not even kidding.
Yeah.
It's like a backwards butthole monster with eyeballs that fucking climbs up and says obscene things to you and if it catches you, you like fucking like burst into pieces and shit.
Yeah.
So yeah, I have seen a little bit. I don't want to ruin my taste for it because I'm excited about it. But yeah, it did come out in Japan already, and I did see a little bit. There is a third Catherine. Because it can't get any more confusing than two.
Well, just a Catherine and there's a Rin.
Yeah, it's short.
Alright, this sounds all kinds of confusing.
Catherine, it's short.
Rin is probably
For
short
Catherine.
yeah.
Yeah, because
They just can't think of any other
They
names.
can't think
for
of
it.
any other ways to write Catherine down. I actually saw a bit on it was
I get it.
I think it
Jeez, Fuzzy, come on.
I think it was Game Grumps. They had someone on there and they're like, oh, they played the next one. I'm like, what are they gonna do? Have a third Catherine? Catherine with a Q? Fuck it, I thought
They could. They very well could.
Yeah.
So we gotta be creative with the name this time.
Right.
Alright, so with that being said, Fuzzy, what was your original number 2?
My original number 2 was Starfield / Outer Scrolls 6.
Okay, we've already talked about that. Go ahead.
Those are two games.
Yeah, but Starfield is using... Outer Scrolls is using the Starfield engine.
Yeah, so... Okay.
And I already put Elder Scrolls on
Yeah,
mine,
so
too,
we understand.
Yes.
We understand.
Thank you.
Number 2. So yeah, this one I'm basically from here on out. I'm keeping with the theme of games that are highly anticipated that nobody knows when the hell they're coming out, and I'm sticking with that with Metroid Prime 4. A game that to show how much everyone was hyped about this game. When it got announced, all they had was a title. That's it. Metroid Prime 4 had a title. At least with like Elder Scrolls 6, they at least had like, you know, landscape and shit like that. Metroid Prime 4 had a title and everybody lost their shit. Now, I wasn't a huge fan of Metroid games when they were coming out, but I've kind of played them retroactively and
I've never played anything past like a demo or whatever. Like I'm aware of what they are. I might actually have one floating around somewhere, but I've never actually played them. I've always had an appreciation for Samus in like the Smash Bros. Games and everything. You know, cool and sexy chick in a weird dude-looking robot suit.
Right, no one knew she was a girl.
Blew my mind when I was a kid. Someone had to be like,
right.
I'm like, oh, Samus. I'm like, yeah, I'm gonna play as him. And like, that's a girl. Like,
what?
Seriously? No, like, I don't see it.
So yeah. Anyways, so a lot of my hype for this game, actually, in a weird way, comes from the fact that I have a lot of friends who are hyped about it. So, like, you could almost think like their hype just kind of rubbed off on me in a certain way. Like, they're just like, I got a buddy who used to work with me. He was like, Metroid Prime 4, Metroid Prime. I'm just like, oh, cool, let's play Metroid Prime 4. Let's go.
Right, you just got the content.
But in that though, I've gotten hyped about it myself too. It's not just like my friends into it, so I want to play it. Like I've gotten into it myself too.
And they've always been Metroid's always been the games that I've been like interested in doing, but then it's like you kind of get discouraged because then they're like, oh, I want to play the first or the second one because those look better. In Metroid, I believe it was Metroid Other M, scared a lot of people away from Metroid.
Yeah, because it wasn't as good of a game.
Right, well, because they took away the whole Samus being this strong warrior woman and kind of turned her into, you know, a sex object. Like, she was pretty.
Which is part of the reason why everyone's so hyped up for Metroid Prime 4. Therein lies the issue, though. They
need to put the badass back in her.
But they announced Metroid Prime 4, and they hadn't done anything since. They were going along swimmingly. Everyone thought the game's coming out this year. And then just like earlier this year, it was announced that they scrapped the entirety of the game, and they're going to redo everything. So it was originally thought it was going to come out at the end of this year. That's probably not coming out until like late next year at the earliest at this point. So it kind of broke a lot of people's hearts when that happened.
Yeah.
But at the same time, it's like this is a game that they don't want to get wrong. They don't want to screw this game up. They know everyone's been looking forward to Metroid Prime 4 for years, and they're doing their best to just give them the best game they can. So, you know what? If it means that it's going to be that much better of a game, I'm all for them delaying it. All right, so the moment we've all been waiting for, kind of, not really. PasMorning, number one game you're looking forward to.
So yeah, we talked about it before that, you know, a lot of the games that we were anticipating kind of already like came out and stuff. So I kind of feel like this one was a cop out because I just couldn't really find anything that had my interest at the time of doing this. And we've talked about it in a different video before. But Borderlands 3, very excited about it. I love the aspect that they keep, like, they're going to cram an unrealistic amount of weaponry in there.
Including some that have legs?
Yeah, right.
I love that part.
And, so yeah, they have some, like, cool weapons and stuff. And a lot of what happened in, like, in the first and the second, you might most likely see in whatever is that only, like, 20% at best of the weapons in the old ones were even halfway decent. Because a lot of, you know, whatever either looked the same or didn't really do anything, whatever, or just kind of seemed to be like restatted or reskinned versions of other weapons. That's bound to happen. Yeah. For sure. That is bound to happen. But the fact that you can never get bored looking for whatever, for the guns.
Borderlands has a very distinct art style that I really enjoy.
Yeah, it almost looks like something straight out of a comic book.
Exactly.
I mean, Borderlands is one of them games that it just never gets old. Like you can play, especially like because the humor is so dry, but it just works. You know, and so I personally like Borderlands 3 is another one that I also thought about putting on my list, but similar to how you said it, it almost felt like a cop out because. As much as I am looking forward to it, it's not like...
I'll take the cop out. I couldn't think of it.
Right, no, it's fine. But yeah, I am looking forward to Borderlands 3. But part of the reason why I couldn't put it on my list is because Borderlands isn't a game I can play with. I have to have a friend to play it with. Otherwise, I'm not going to enjoy it as much.
Right, you can't just play with yourself. It's good to play with others.
Yes. Well, we're gonna ignore the childishness of that joke.
I didn't say pervert. I didn't say anything.
So
He's implying that I said something.
All right.
Don't do the hand gestures when you say that.
So, anyways, yeah, Borderlands 3, I don't think you're going to find a lot of people that are going to disagree with you on that. It's definitely anticipate the game.
It's got a lot of aspects.
It got announced, like, a little over a month ago now, and it's already got all kinds of hype behind it.
Oh, I damn near shit myself when I saw the trailer for it. They got the catchy music going, you got the claptrap dancing. You know, just like, I can't remember how many weapons they said that there were.
Over a billion guns.
Yeah.
That's good. You know, I almost don't know if I could take it seriously, though. Like, over a billion, okay, I wouldn't put it past them, but at the same time, I also wouldn't put it past them to over-exaggerate for the point.
Right. Well, if there is a billion guns, then what you're really hoping for is that at least 1 million of them would be
good,
fucking fantastic. Yeah. But realistically,
only
100,000 probably would even be unrealistic.
Right.
You're probably I would imagine a few thousand would be like the shit, and then slowly going down. You're probably going to see a lot of copies or a lot of things that look, almost the same as other ones. But that's almost fine too. I had a lot of fun. I'm criticizing it now, but I actually never had that big of an issue.
Yeah, no, it's not really an issue once you start playing the game.
Because I could always count on, most of the time anyway,
not having the same gun as somebody else.
Having different equipment, because in a lot of games it's like, you got all these weapons, like, no, you got about like 300 of them, and there's only like 20 that are good, so 9 times out of 10, everyone's going to have the same fucking weapon.
Yeah. Fuzzy! Number 1.
Now, my original number 1 was going to be Biomutant, but I'm not going to take a cop-out option, but pick an option that was going to be on my top list. Runner-up. And that is Grand Theft Auto 6. That is my number 1 pick that I am most excited about. I'm a huge Rockstar person. I love GTA games.
Well,
it's always fun.
I know you've been playing them GTA games since the first one came out.
I typically don't pre-order games at all, but I pre-ordered all of them that I could back in the day, because that's how much I enjoy Rockstar games. Granted, there are still some issues with the games themselves that I don't particularly like.
Shit happens when you have something that big.
Yeah,
it's gonna happen.
But still, I don't know. You have to take this with a grain of salt, but they were talking about putting Vice City in Miami in this game, which would be really exciting.
Cool. Yeah, I can get behind that. So yeah, obviously with that, there's not much to say about it because we don't know much about it.
No.
So, right, but we know that it's
Grand Theft Auto. It's going to be probably one of the best-selling games of the PS5, probably.
Although it is coming to the PlayStation 5 for a 1-month exclusive.
Haha, PS5 wins, go away.
Well, I'm getting a PlayStation 5 as soon as it comes out. That's going to be my next console.
Me too. I'm probably not even going to try to fuck with the Xbox. You're fucking PlayStation getting all the good exclusives.
I know.
Yeah. PS5 Master Race. Woo!
I nearly
PC Master Race.
Yeah. Joke's on you when you complain about your Epic Games over there.
Yeah.
So, GTA 6. That's a good choice for number 1. Not even one that I would have thought about at all. Like, it's far from my mind because not that I don't like GTA games. I love GTA games. It's just one that I hadn't thought of.
I got so bored of, I love GTA 5.
Well, the story modes can get pretty boring, but just roaming around
the story
doing
mode was
stuff.
my favorite. Story mode was my favorite part of it. But the first GTA game I ever played was number 3, and I don't think I ever
no one ever played the story.
I don't think I ever played the story on that. It was just fun to just fucking do whatever.
Get a tank, run over people.
Like San Andreas was still one of my favorites. I barely, just enough to kind of move things along, but I barely touched anything in there. Just do whatever I wanted to, blow stuff up, do tricks, whatever. And it's just a fun game to do whatever the fuck you want.
And that's the beauty of it. Sure, at some points you do have to do story stuff.
Yeah,
but you can boot up,
getting good shit.
But you can boot up and just randomly steal a tank and...
Yeah, cheat codes were a big thing.
I always loved having, in the older games, having the flying car cheat. It was fun.
No, it's
It
always
made
fun.
no freaking sense, but I don't care.
Hey, this is fun. That's all that matters. As long as you have fun with the game. I personally don't like overly abusing cheat codes in games, but GTA was always the exception in my mind because I don't think you should use cheat codes in games until you have actually beaten said game. But
no one's ever going to beat GTA.
Seeing as beating GTA was like on the bottom of my list.
Right. The top of your list was just enjoying the...
Right.
Yeah.
Like, where the gun's at, how do you get in the car?
How do I kill people with, a giant...
Right. Oh, no, I don't even need that question answered. I'll figure it out.
We'll figure it out.
Right.
Mm-hmm. But what about you, Ambrose? What is your number one?
Alright, so earlier I mentioned how I wasn't going to be doing remakes on here, bar one. I don't think anyone who knows me would be surprised by this, but...
Earthbound.
No. It's interesting because when we were doing this list, I thought of, talking about games that I'm anticipating that I know are going to come out, but they're not a thing yet. My first thought was I could say, the new Zelda game coming out that we all know was going to come out, but there's nothing out
you
yet.
haven't actually heard anything about it.
Kingdom Hearts 4, because I know Kingdom Hearts 4 is going to happen at some point. But I decided, to steer clear of that because that would just be kind of cop-out answers. But I did choose one that's similar vein. The Final Fantasy VII remake. Which, up until about a week ago, I wouldn't have put on this list, probably. But when I saw the trailer that dropped last week for what they're doing with it, it renewed my hype for this game. Now, I've never been, one of the Final Fantasy VII fanboys that, thinks 7 is the best. Personally, I always thought 9 was the best, in my opinion.
Me too.
But 7 was really good. I liked 7. So I'm really excited with what they're doing with it. And PasMorning, I know you mentioned how you don't like how they're changing the combat style, and I can get behind that. I can see what you're saying.
Because Final Fantasy VII is a strategy RPG, and I'm just not digging the fact that no one's really sticking with the strategy RPG.
Yeah, they're definitely taking more of a Final Fantasy 15 approach,
right?
Which personally, I liked the combat in 15. I understand where you're coming from. I understand why you don't like it, but I'm always willing to give it a shot.
Oh yeah, I probably would end up getting it anyway because I am a Final Fantasy nerd. But that's not to say that I would even be able to finish it because I couldn't get very far in Final Fantasy 15. It either felt too easy or just It felt like it was giving me a bunch of shit that I didn't actually need. I just wanted, a good strategy, whatever. So I was excited to see Final Fantasy VII come out and be all HD and gorgeous, but they're turning it into an action RPG. Yeah. And turning it into a button masher and taking out the turnstile strategy that everybody loved. So, in my opinion, it's not so much a remake as it is a redo.
Which is part of the reason why I put it on this list anyways, because it's not technically a remake. You could argue this is like a whole new game.
Yeah, and I think that's the thing that fans are probably not going to really like. Yeah. Well, this one, anyway, doesn't like it.
I'm open to it. I like it. But, I'm also the guy who I'm saying, I'm willing to give stuff a try if it's something that interests me. I'll usually make up my mind later that I didn't like it, something like that. But I've been a fan of Final Fantasy since the good old days. So even if it's something that's different than traditional, I'm still willing to give it a shot. I'm still probably going to love it.
I'm really surprised that your number one pick wasn't Mario Maker 2.
I thought about putting Mario Maker 2. As much as I am looking forward to that game, I don't really have a lot of hype for it at the moment, mostly just because it's almost here, and so it's something like, I can't wait for this game, because it's there. It's coming out, and there's other games that I was anticipating. And I also didn't want to be, as much as I love Nintendo, I feel like a lot of what I talk about on our channel is Nintendo. And so I don't want to be like the Nintendo whore.
Well, I mean, you are the Disney one as well.
It's true. But no, I mean, Nintendo, I love Nintendo. But at the same time, it's I don't want to be all Nintendo. So I kind of tried to branch out a little bit more and do other stuff, too.
Well, there's nothing wrong with being a Nintendo.
Oh, no.
I was going to say, I was joking on it. Nintendo. Yeah. But
I also wanted to branch out and show my other appreciations as well, too. So.
Right.
So with that being said, that was our top 5 most anticipated video games, and I can almost guarantee you we went way longer than we expected to.
Exactly.
But that's okay because we you know what? You're getting like 3 weeks worth of videos now, so we didn't have videos for a few weeks.
Yeah.
So that's okay. With that being said, leave a like if you enjoyed. Leave your guys' lists down below on what you guys are looking forward to coming up.
And tell us if any of our games appeared on, if any of our games appear on your list at all.
And of course, last but not least, make sure you subscribe to keep up to date on what is happening with us next. I need to work on being able to say stuff like that. It's been a while.
I'm rubbing off on you.
With that being said, I'm Ambrose.
I'm PasMorning.
Wait, what?
You're fuzzy now.
I guess I'm fuzzy.
And we'll see you next time.